Peace, 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 and black power family. Welcome to another episode of Do Knowledge Radio. Place where knowledge is born. It's your host, Knowledge Born a Lot. And we got a special treat here. We got our mother goddess, Capricorn Shamaness, who is taking time out of her busy schedule to give us an epic three-part series here on Do Knowledge Radio. So I am definitely excited and honored to have this restorative healing mother goddess here with us with a special message for our listening audience. So get your pens and your pads together, and I'm going to hand over the floor and welcome back to the microphone the goddess of reformation, reconciliation, and empowerment, our mother goddess, Capricorn.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Knowledge, for having me on. Thank you, everyone who's joining and watching the series. What I want to talk about in this three-part series is psychic self-defense. And in the spirit of truth, I asked Knowledge what he thought his audience would be interested in, and he gave me this title. So I sat with it, and as I sat with it, I kind of want to change it a little bit. Um, because self-defense is only one part of what I want to talk to you guys about. I think what I really want to call it is psychic protection and cultivation. And I'll tell you more about that as we get into it. So, in all honesty, when people are talking to me or when they ask me questions about protection, or when they come to me and they're looking for me to do ritual work related to protection, or they're seeking out some of the healing energetics and activations that I do centered around protection, what I've come to realize is that most of the time they're not really asking me about protection because they're in danger. They're usually asking because they are really out of alignment. So, as we're moving through this series, what I want you to think about is more so self management than it is being trying to protect yourself from outside image, outside energies. So, I'll tell you the reason why it's necessary. Well, let me tell you this first. We're going to break this down into three parts. We're going to do three sessions. This first session, we're going to talk about self management and vision and intention as it relates to protection. In the second part, we'll talk about protection that is offensive and then protection that is defensive, because you need both. You need both. So, in today's session, what I want to help you to understand is the necessity of it, why it's necessary for you to have some type of protection in place for yourself. And the reason why it's necessary is because of entanglement, is a big reason for it. So, you are one unit that exists within a family of other units, that your family of origin is going to be your first tribe, and then your immediate family exists within another family unit that will be your extended family, and then that family is existing within a community, and your community is existing within a particular location or a region. That location is found within a nation. Nations exist within countries. Countries exist within a global footprint. There's countries all over the world, and so humans get together on uh, uh, with connections like the one we have right now, which is, the internet or the web, and there's a global network of human beings sharing energy. And then within that global network, we are connected to a planet. The planet Earth that we exist on is connected to a solar system, and that solar system exists within a universe. The universe exists within the multiverse, and the multiverse exists within the mind of Goddess. And I did say Goddess. but to each his own. Okay, and so the reason why I went through that whole process is for you to understand that the energy of all that is happening, and within what I told you, this hierarchy that I just shared with you, there are many, many, many more levels. I just shared the ones that would be most appropriate for me to make the points that I want to make today. But each of these units, you and all of the other humans that you're interacting with, because for the most part, I'm just talking about human interactions. There are different kinds, there are more, but we're just going to talk about human interactions for the purposes of today's discussion. Um, each of these units, each of these humans is operating in its own unique energy field. You have your own unique energy imprint. And every person that you interact with, if we just go back to your family unit, each person within that family unit has its own energy field. And so this is the reason why um, each person in the family unit has its own unique energy field, and then all of those people coming together collectively have a collective energy field. This is why you can go into one house and it feels one way, and you go into another house and it can feel completely different, because the people and the things that are residing within that place, they are all emitting an an energy, and then that energy field coming together, those different types of energies coming together, they infuse and create a global or network of energy. And so you have to keep all of this in mind when you're thinking about psychic protection or defending yourself, the entanglement of it all. And so at every one of those levels within yourself, you have 50 trillion cells within you that are operating. Each of those cells has consciousness. And so you are a global unit within yourself. Then you put yourself and all your 50 trillion cells in connection with someone else and their 50 trillion cells. You have two different types of forces coming together that has their own unique imprint. Together, those forces have a different imprint to when they come together, and it keeps growing and growing and growing every time you add another level to it, every time you add another grouping to it. The more people that come together, the more power that is formulated. And so whoever is in control of that energy at the highest levels, they are the ones that has the most power. um, and most of the time they're utilizing the energy of the other people, the other units that participate in that group or in that level. So when you are talking about protection, when you're talking about defending yourself, you need to understand what it is that you have to protect yourself against. What is it that you're defending yourself against? And so, as we go into the groupings, the places and the people that you are connected to, who's in control of that power? Sometimes I ask the question, whose thoughts are you thinking? Because sometimes people are talking to you and they're not talking to you about their own thoughts. Most people don't know what their own thoughts are. They're connected to so many places and so many people unconsciously. They're thinking somebody else's thoughts. They're speaking somebody else's words, championing someone else's cause. And so in you assessing um, whether or not you need protection, then you need to assess what you're connected to, because it's been my experience that most people that are coming to me with questions and concerns about protection, they're not really coming because they're in danger of something or someone is maliciously attacking them. What it really is that they are connected to a more conscious energy source that is mindful and operating at a higher level of divinity than they are, and utilizing their energy because of the connection and their unconsciousness. And they don't like it. They're not enjoying the way that their energy is being utilized. They're not getting what it is that they want out of the connection. So in today's session, the first thing that I want to talk about is you getting clear about what your vision is for yourself, what you want to do with your energy, where you want your energy to go. So the first part that you're going to need to do is really determine um, where you are. Number one, you must assess your current state. Um, and from assessing your current state, you get to be more self aware and get vision focused. And we'll talk about the vision part of it in a second. Um, then from there, you can become more proactive with your protection and your defense, and move into the offensive protection, which we'll talk about next week in the second session. And then the third session, we'll talk about resetting and course correction, which is going to be more so defensive protection. So for today, let me get my notes to the point where I am. Hold on one second. Today, self awareness. Where are you? Um, what are you connected to? Who are you connected to? Why are you connected to those people, to those groups? Some of these connections we can't do anything about. You live on, well, you're a part of a family unit. That is your family. So you can't undo the those bloodline connections. You can change the nature of your relationship with the people that participate, that are a part of that bloodline connection, but you can't change the fact that you are connected to this family unit. And so there's certain things that you have to deal with as a result of that ancestral energy that you're connected to. Um, Other connections like your your neighborhood and your city, you can navigate that. You can move, to a different neighborhood, you can move to a different city and adjust those connections. But ultimately, if you're a part of a particular location, all the people that comprise that location, all the people that live there, are all a part of it, and they're contributing to the energy. That's why you go into one neighborhood and it feels one way, and you go into another neighborhood and it feels completely different. This is why you can cross state lines, and one state has one type of energy and another state has a different type of energy. So you want to get clear about what you're connected to, who you're connected to, and why. Um, and then you also want to get clear about how your energy is being utilized in those connections. So if you are connected to a person, place, or thing, and you're walking away from that connection and you're feeling drained, you're feeling um, like you gave something that you didn't want to give, or they took something that you didn't want them to have, then you might want to question those connections. Your energy is probably being siphoned or used in a way that doesn't necessarily serve whatever it is that you're up to. Um, and then there are higher level connections, as I explained in the hierarchy, when we're talking about cosmic or planetary connections. Being in the solar system, we can't change the fact that we're on planet Earth. To date, we haven't figured out how to transport ourselves to a different planet and live in those, on that planetary system. So we're here. You have to deal with the fact that you're connected to the Earth. And when we talk about on day two, when I get into offensive protection, then I'll help you to understand what it is that you need to do to get in alignment. But first off, you want to explore. You want to do some self assessment. Check where you are. Where am I in this? What's not working? And that's probably the easiest way for you to start to assess what needs to go and what needs to stay. If the energy is not feeling right and it's not working, then that's where your problem areas are. That's usually the reason why you're presenting with needing protection. And so we start there. Or if you're doing this on your own, you start there. Um, in dealing with self-awareness, you need to understand these places, these people, these groups that you're connected to, the different levels within the hierarchy that you're connected to. What are the laws that they are operating under? Um, And that is a whole nother subject. Maybe we'll do a different series to kind of talk about laws. But every person has their own laws that they operate out of. The family system has laws, again, why you walk into one house and the energy is a certain way, because the units that are there, they have particular laws, rules that they live by. The neighborhood, it has laws. You might have an HOA that requires you to make sure your grass is cut every week. You might be in a different neighborhood and there's no HOA and they don't care whether or not your grass gets cut. It just depends on where you are, who you're connected to, and why you are choosing those connections. So, first off, you want to get self awareness, what's going on and why. Secondly, as I said earlier, the energies that are operating with consciousness, and you'll understand this more as you start to look at this and see the groupings, the people that you're connected to. Hold on a second, guys. Let me close this door. The cat just came in. Um, all right. So the groupings that you're connected to, they're operating out of their own laws, their own rules. So you want to understand what those are and why they exist, and whether or not you want to participate or how you can navigate and maneuver around them. One of the ways that you're able to better navigate is the next point, which is for you to get clear about what it is that you want, where you want your energy to be invested, how you want your energy to be invested, and the return that you want on your energetic investment. And so, my prescription for that is to create a vision. You need to clarify your vision. Everybody, all the time, we're thinking thoughts. You have an image of yourself, whether it be positive or negative. There's an image of yourself. There's a part of you that wants to strive to become something more, something greater, even if you don't take action. There's still that part of you that is striving for something else. That is a reflection of your inner vision. And so, what I'm going to challenge you to do this week, as you're preparing for me to give you more insight on the offensive and defensive protection, I want you to get clear about what your vision is. And the reason for this is because those higher levels of consciousness that I mentioned before, they know what they want, and because they know what they want, then they're able to utilize the energy of the people that are tied to them in these different groups at these different levels. Okay. Your energy is being utilized to serve Earth on some level, because you have a connection to her at that planetary level. Your energy is being utilized in your city to serve the city, if for no other reason than this is why you're paying taxes, so that they can utilize your energy, your resources, your money to keep the city going, to keep the city alive, to keep the city thriving and productive. So you've got to figure out, just like those higher levels do, what you want your energy to be doing, where you want your life force to be going, how you want it to be utilized, how much of your energy you want to put into these other people, places, things, groups, hierarchies, whatever it is you're tied into. So you need to clarify, you need to explore your vision. If you've never gone through this process, I actually have a course online. I think I called it Vision or Vision Quest. You might be able to find it on my website. If you're interested, you can always just shoot me an email, and I will gift it to you. Um, and in this course, I take you through a process of breaking your life down into 4 parts. And within those 4 parts, identifying what it is that you want in each of those parts. Um, that's where you got to start. You got to get clear about what it is that you want, what it is that you're creating, where you want your energy to go. The next part is about clarifying the vision. So once you get the overarching vision, then you need to figure out, like, okay, so what's real? What do I really want here? Some of that is going to come when you start taking action towards it. You might recognize, I thought I wanted this job as such and such and such, but I don't really want this job. I don't like doing that kind of work. And so your vision changes and shifts over time. So you want to take the time to clarify your vision. My tip on that is asking why. Why do I want this? So if you're saying, you want that job, what is the job going to bring to you? What do you think you're going to be, do, or have as a result of this desire? And so when you understand the why, then you can ask the question again, is that what I really want? Do I really want that, or do I really want something else? Because you might realize that the reason why I wanted that job is because it pays 80 G's. Well, do I need to find a different job that will give me that salary, that's more conducive to what it is that I want? And so those are the types of questions that you start to explore for yourself when you get into the next level of clarifying your vision. And this thing is a work in progress. What you will learn when you start to adopt these practices, with being vision focused, is that as you evolve and change, your vision evolves and change. You attain a level of status or a goal, something that you wanted, your desires are met, and then now there's space for you to create something else. So you go forward and you expand your vision into the next thing that you want. So don't be concerned if it keeps changing and tweaking, especially if you're new to this type of thinking, because you're going to change. Just thinking this way may be a shift for you. And so what you are wanting to create for yourself is going to shift as you grow, evolve, and begin to live this stuff out. Uh, then the next part of that is about cultivating your vision. And the reason you want to do this is because you as an energy force is set in the energy that you're already in. Whatever it is that you've been creating for yourself, the results that you've been getting for yourself is because of particular energy that you set, that you've already, set. The vibration is within you. You're operating out of it. The decisions that you're making are coming as a result of it. The places you're going, the people you're interacting with, the jobs, everything is being affected by where you are today, what you have cultivated within yourself today, or what you have allowed to make use of your energy today. And so, what you want to do is to, after you have crafted the vision, you have clarified the vision, then you want to cultivate it with a couple things. One is going to be your focused attention. So you're going to want to, on a regular basis, revisit that vision, understand, remember what it is that you are wanting for yourself in a concrete way. So what I do for me is I have created a mission statement for myself that I listen to every single day. It is part of the way that I set my energy in the morning when I get up. Who am I? What am I up to? What's going on? And so at the very top of that is what my overarching vision is for myself. And it includes everything for me. It includes my money. It includes my relationships. It includes my image of myself. It includes my body, my mind. It includes my contribution and how I want to influence and imprint the world with my energy. And so you can get as detailed as you want with this, as detailed as you want. And then finally, what you're going to want to do for this part of it is begin to take action, because the repetition of it, with cultivating this part in yourself, the subconscious mind is reprogrammed by repetition. So that's the reason why I listen to it every day. I have recorded my mission statement, and so every morning I am reaffirming to my cells and to my subconscious mind This is what I am expecting from you. So when people say that everything that's on the inside, nothing is on the outside, it's all within, this is true. Everything that you are experiencing in your external world, there's some reflection of it that's happening in the internal world. And the subconscious mind is running most of that. And so the repetition part will help you to continue to clarify with your subconscious mind what it is that you want. And then your mind literally sends out that energy, and then it gets reflected back to you in your reality. And so this is the reason why the repetitive piece of it is necessary, so that you can reprogram yourself. So if you are wanting to have loving and positive affirming connections, but you are wired to be aggressive and violent, whether it be emotionally violent or physically violent, then what you're going to get is more connections that are aggressive in nature, or more experiences that are aggressive in nature, and give you an opportunity to exercise that violence, because that is the way you're wired. So by utilizing, um, by practicing repetitively affirming what it is that you want, your vision, then you kind of take, like, I want to say at least 50% of the energy that you might be experiencing as either are thinking might be psychic attack or negativity that's coming your way, interactions, relationships that you're not enjoying being a part of. By um, by affirming what it is that you want, just naturally, like 50% of that energy is just going to start to dissipate. You'll notice the people will start to go away. Something will shift, and the group that you're connected to, for whatever reason, it will dissolve itself, or an opportunity presents itself, and you're able to go and do something that you really want to do more of. um, there's all kinds of miraculous ways in which the universe will grant you what it is that you're asking for, and what it is that you're expecting, and what it is that you are. So the repetitive nature of revisiting your vision on a daily basis is very, very important. And that's why, it's because it's helping to set the energy. So half of the stuff that's coming your way that you don't like is going to naturally start to fall off, because you have told the divine within you, the God that's within you, this is what I'm wanting. This is how I want my energy to be utilized. This is how I want my energy to be experienced, not only by me, but by other people, through your mission statement. And then the next part of it is your ways of being. So, to the example that I gave before, if you want to have loving, positive relationships, then you need to show up in loving and positive ways. If you want your relationships to be openly communicative, then you're going to need to get vulnerable and start to communicate what it is that you want, you need, and you desire, and then allow other people to do the same thing, to do the same things with you. And finally, after crafting the vision, clarifying the vision, cultivating the vision, then you want to take action on the vision. So when you start to do all of those things are going to shift in your reality. It, people and experiences are going to come forth that will either challenge what you said you wanted, to confirm that that's what you want, or to support what it is that you want. So you're going to need to take action, because you can do all of this stuff, and if you don't take action, then we're back at square one. We haven't made any progress, because the God that made the request is not willing to do the work to honor that which it is asking for. Um, so you're going to want to take action that supports it. You're going to want to have ways of being that honor what it is that you're asking for, and continue to cultivate and clarify your vision. And by doing that, I promise you, I have seen this happen not only in my life, but in the lives of other people. And just with shifting your focus, just with shifting your attention, just by changing your ways of being, that you will see the energy around you, the people around you, they will shift because you're no longer vibrating at the same frequency. Now, there's more. This is just the beginning. This is just your part. This is just how you get to show up and clarify what it is that you're wanting. And this stuff that I'm talking about, this is not just regular average stuff. This is you're operating at a higher vibration. You're operating out of your divinity. God's set the tone for what it is that they want. They have standards. They are their own laws. Not only are they operating within the universal laws, the cosmic laws, they operate as a law themselves. And so this is you determining what the law of you is by clarifying your vision, by taking action on that vision, by showing up as that vision even before you have any evidence that any of the stuff that you've requested is manifesting. You've got to be it before you can have it. Okay. Um, so for today, this week, actually, that's where I want you guys to go. I want you to clarify your vision. Take your focus off of all the stuff that you don't like, other than assessing that you don't like it and determining what you want in its place. And then next week, we're going to come and we'll talk about offensive protection. And so that is what you need to do to shore yourself up before any threats or attacks happen. Offensive protection. And then in 2 weeks, we'll come back and we'll talk about corrective action for or the defensive protection. Like if you get hit with something, if you know your energy is off, you've been hanging around a bunch of negative people, and you're normally a positive person, and you just can't seem to shake off this negativity. What needs to happen there? You've been hit, and so now you need to do some work, some course correction to correct what has happened, and move yourself in to the direction of where it is that you want to go. Reset yourself back to what your normal is, and assess whether or not you need to make changes um, to what you're doing to prevent this type of attack from happening again. So we'll cover all of that in session 3. I hope this helped. I'm sure it is not necessarily um, the average. Like I think of things on a bigger scale, but this is where you need to go if you're concerned about protection, especially during these times with everything that's going on. um, your energy is being pulled in so many different directions. Your energy is being utilized to push so many different narratives. You must stop and take control of your own narrative. How do you want your energy to be utilized? Where do you want that energy to go? How is this going to affect the people that I have influence over, like your family or your children? If you're in leadership positions, those that follow you, what do you want to do with that? How do you want to navigate it? All of these different things. So the first thing you've got to do is to clarify who you are and what you want and how you want your resources to be utilized. And that's it. So you guys, Knowledge did an excellent job of putting a banner across here that has my website on it. You can find me at www.capricornshamaness.me. There's lots of good stuff there. For those of you that are wanting to do some other stuff to shore yourself up with for protection, I have activations on the website. You can go there. There's a couple activations for you that you can get started working on. We'll talk more about them in upcoming weeks, but there's one that's called Stop Parasites. Um, there's one that helps with the digestive system, and I'll explain to you more about why I did it that way next week. And then there's another one that's called Immune System Booster. any of either one of those will support you in the process of shifting your energy body where it needs to go so that you can start the process of um, offensive or defensive protection. For more questions or about the subject, you can email me at info@capricornshamaness.me or at capricornshaman@gmail.com. I hope you guys enjoyed today's session, and I will talk to you next week. Bye bye.